threes. So welcome, and thank you again for very much offering to host and support our year three students again this year. So just so that you're aware, in the students' pre-CP2 sessions that they are currently undertaking this week and next, we've talked about, obviously, welcome them back into year three. We have talked about the expectations in and around clinical practice. We've talked about the professional use of social media, any reasonable adjustments that our students might have, and they will be communicated with you. We've also asked the students to re-engage with their PRPs and look at their professional teaching and learning standards, and just re-engage really after the long summer holiday with where their targets were at and what they were confident in and feeling that they still had to work on. So they've also had some recapping on learning and teaching plans and the evaluation of those. And they will also next week be going through Prevent and ACEs training and alongside a first aid course as well. So as you can see, I won't read the rest of them out, but we've talked about research and inquiry time. They've had their child protection seminar, which will be next week. And we've also talked about supporting pupils with additional learning needs as well. So I just wanted to draw your attention to the clinical practice guide, and I'm just going to try and sort of focus in on the most important parts, really. I mean, it's all very important, but just so that you can sort of navigate your way more confidently and freely throughout. So on the screen at the moment, as you can see, we've got the sort of the course map when the students will sort of first come out. So they'll be in their senior lead at the lead partnership schools that first week, obviously on that Friday, and then they'll be with you from the 6th of October. I just wanted to change my screen to share with you that first week, if I can, just so that we can look in a little bit more detail at that in terms of the expectation of our student teachers and where they will be needing your support. I'm just trying to locate it. I've got to move my bar. Bear with me. So it's just an overview of the first week, which for our students, has that changed screen? No, I don't think it has it? Can you see the week beginning there? Is that on the right screen for everybody?
Yep, we can see.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, so just to sort of run through, obviously the guide is broken down week by week. So this is their first full week for our student teachers. So they'll be undertaking 3.5 days of research and inquiry. So they have a sort of a list basically of the expectation of what they will be doing there. And in terms of yourself as senior mentor and mentors, obviously it's that induction to school safeguarding, introducing them to key staff that they may need access to, and also ensuring that they've got access to all the relevant policies. At the end of today, I'll be forwarding Rachel the final list, and then we'll be making sure that obviously yourself as senior mentor and as your class mentors all have access to their PRP. So really in that first week, that's sort of a priority for us, really making sure the relevant access. So the detail of that starts actually on page 15 of the clinical practice guide. So from that point onwards, it's quite self-explanatory in terms of what is happening. Okay, I will just sort of carry on from there. So I briefly spoke then about research and inquiry time. So again, in terms of the detailed information within the clinical practice guide, you will find that on pages 39 onwards. And that really gives a breakdown of the expectation of the students whilst they are completing that time. So they are given an overview of what we think that should look like. Okay, so and that is obviously alongside your mentors as well. Just seeing if I can open that up for you. Sorry, it's going a little bit slowly, my end. I do apologise. Oh, it doesn't want to play. I'll just resume there. So as I say, the activities in terms of research and inquiry are on page 39. So we again have talked about the students. Obviously, all of our year 3 students will be undertaking their dissertations. So again, they'll be hopefully having those professional conversations with the class mentors in terms of where they want to focus their research on. And again, that will come into their research and inquiry time, as well as sort of working towards the activities they've got to complete for their SLT days and work that they need to do towards managing and running the classroom alongside the mentors as well. So this slide is just showing you sort of some important dates and deadlines. So again, quite essential really in terms of the important parts. So the students' first formal learning and teaching observation, Form 4, will happen that week beginning the 20th of October. There are actually now YouTube videos to support any new mentors or any mentors that wish to have a refresher. We have created some learning and teaching support videos about how to complete those observation forms, and also some YouTube videos on how to sort of support you in terms of completing those key assessment points as well, those progress reviews. So I'll share those in due course as well. So the students are again made aware of all of these dates as well. So hopefully nothing will come as a surprise to them. Okay. So as I say, if you can, please check their PRPs as and when you have the opportunity and the access, just to make sure that it is all running as it should. If you have any problems, please do either contact Rachel or go directly to the EWC, depending on what the issues are. Next week, our university tutors will be reaching out to you as well to introduce themselves in case they have changed schools and they are new to you. And we'll obviously have access to the students' PLPs as well. So you will have somebody that you can touch base with. But if you have any PLP issues, please just give Rachel a shout or contact PLP EWC directly. So we've really sort of enforced with the students that they need to evidence ongoing meetings with their mentors. So they have got formal templates that they can use and upload those meeting notes to the PRP should they wish. But we also do provide our students with blue books in which the mentors are encouraged to sort of write down any feedback, any targets, and then the students can screenshot that and upload that to their using the Pebble Pocket app. They can upload that to the mentor meeting tag. They know how to do that. And again, it's just a more fluid way. We don't want everyone typing everything out, but we do want to have them evidencing that they're sort of listening to and acting on feedback that sort of comes weekly to them. So again, anything that the mentor sort of wants to encourage them to focus on, if they can make a note of it in there, then they can upload that and, as I say, act on that going forward. So everything is obviously completed on the PLP. So all the learning and teaching observations are on there, and they can be completed directly onto the PLP by the mentor. The students will be completing a synthesis of progress in line with their CAP points, and they're encouraged to do that prior to the self-assessment on their progress reviews. Okay, and all of these are on the PLP, and they have been shown where they are and the level of detail that is expected to be on them as well. So it's important that they meet with their mentor after they've done that self-assessment, so that that can be sort of that professional dialogue as well, to sort of make sure everyone's thinking the same thing. Okay, and then progress 3 and 4 will be completed after the mentor meets with the students then again, so that it's quite clear what is going on. If your student isn't meeting the minimum threshold, there is obviously within the handbook, page 62, there is opportunity for you to reach out to the UT and look at the concern over progress and procedure there. But I would always encourage, if you have concerns, please do reach out to the university tutor in the first instance, although I'll run through the concern over progress map for you now. But as I say, we have got those tutors there to support you and our students whilst they're out in schools. All of the university tutors will be coming out to complete a quality assurance and quality assessment in terms of supporting our senior mentors. So that is actually available to senior mentors directly on the PLP again. So you'll be linked via your own workspaces. So the window for that is the 24th of the 11th to the 11th of the 12th. So our university tutors will get in touch with you probably sooner rather than later to pencil in and organise those visits to your school. So we won't need to see all of the students in all of the schools. We'll see about a third of our students, and we'll just have those professional dialogues with the students, the mentors and the senior mentors. But the QA/QE policy is available on the partnership site should you want any further information on that. So student teachers have to complete a learning and teaching plan for every independent session that they teach. So we would ask that they don't plan in any other formats, but they're following the pro forma that is set for them on their PLP. If they need to be shared or emailed, then that's absolutely fine, obviously, if that's what you wish. But in terms of your mentors' access, they should be able to go directly onto the PLP to see that the student has completed the planning in time for delivery of a lesson. And we just ask that obviously your mentors and the senior mentors, we're making sure that those learning intentions for the lessons are really clear and focused, and we're prompting them with those, and that the success criteria align with the learning intentions. And again, just looking to encourage them to really think about different assessment strategies. I'm sure they'll be absorbing that from the staff that they're with, but again, just making sure those key aspects are sort of challenged and progressive for them, alongside any differentiation strategies that they're really thinking about how they can best support all the pupils within the class. So we spoke about the research and inquiry, which, as I say, there's a lot of detail within the clinical practice book from page 39 onwards. So in terms of evidencing on their R&E tab, okay, we expect to see their school-led training day notes and tasks uploaded to that. Anything that they're undertaking in terms of their work for their independent project, their development of their Welsh language skills, and their observation proformas, which they're going to be completing within the first week. And they may indeed do additional ones for supporting their independent projects as well. But those things we would expect to see those uploaded to their R&E tab, and also their completed reflective cycles, the one that they do at Progress Review 3 and Progress Review 4. So we'd expect to see those loaded up to their R&E tab. So students must ensure that they carefully consider the next minimum threshold. They're all currently working towards CAP 3, but their PLP, as we have quite enthusiastically told them, must be kept up to date, because that's obviously where we're going to gather all of our information from when we're making judgments, and when we're sort of supporting how they do go through. So if they are failing to keep their PLP up to date, that we have told them that it might result in them not achieving the professional teaching standards PL3, so the appropriate standards, and therefore they would be failing CP2. And as I said, if they have any issues, they have been directed to go straight to EWC as well. We have got embedded within the PLPs, there's a new press for concern, there's a new capacity for identifying concern over attendance. So again, if obviously you are experiencing any attendance issues, they're not arriving in time, leaving too early, obviously it's really important that that discussion is had with the student teacher, but please do also inform the university tutor that is linked with your school. If they're unable to meet that expectation for whatever reason for a sustained period, then they can be placed on concern over attendance. Okay, so there's access to the policy there as well for you, should you wish to look into that again in more detail. Again, concern over progress, there's access to this on the partnership site as well. But there's a flow chart that's really important that go through. So if you have a concern over a student, all we would ask is that you follow the process, okay, so that we have a paper trail that can support that we've done everything in a timely manner to support the students. So that's the most important thing. So the flow chart is quite sensible, quite straightforward. And as I say, do reach out to university tutors if you feel this is sort of something that is going on. But obviously, first port of call is going to be conversations in school with your students and your mentors. Obviously, you can keep up the university tutors in the loop, but please do make that paper trail in terms of the support, whether it's through the GROW model of concern over progress, but please do sort of keep that paper trail there to support any actions as they may or may not progress. Okay. We've also shared with you how to student teachers learn and the importance of observing experienced professionals. So again, this is something that's been shared with them in terms of how they can focus their R&E time when they're perhaps going into different classrooms that they're not allocated to. So again, it's just sort of a structure for them to potentially use. Students do have these focused lesson observations should they wish to use them. They do have access to them. And again, it's just to allow them to have a little bit of structure for making those observations within the classroom. They do have 2 there. So this is if they're looking at any other practice, if they do go into other classrooms as part of their R&E time. They have to complete their 2 reflective cycles on clinical practice 2 using the templates that are on the PRP. So these are the key dates for those. Those reflective cycles have to be done before that progress review so that they are having that opportunity to sort of deep dive and be really reflective in terms of what they're doing. And say if that can be done alongside the mentors, hopefully that will have more impact for them as well. So in summary, basically, the students must complete 5 observations in their first week. They've got to refer closely to the Appendix 2 of the CP2 handbook for a detailed breakdown of what they have to do in their R&E time each week. And again, we know there must be flexibility, but they have got that list in terms of what they should be doing and how they should be using that time. And as soon as they receive feedback on teaching, we want to ensure that those observations are a focus and a target for their subsequent lessons. They do, generally speaking, find the reflective cycles quite tricky for some reason. So it's important that they have that support in completing that to really sort of self-reflect on what they're finding harder, what they're finding tricky, and where their confidence lies, so that they can sort of be challenged, especially in this last instance. Because obviously we're looking in terms of the critical descriptors for our students to be getting aware in all of the descriptors and then capable in the 10 critical descriptors. So the critical descriptors are at the back of the clinical practice guide on page 57. So they're lovely colour-coded standards. So it does make that those are sort of the areas that you'll use most when you're actually looking at the clinical practice guide. So they know exactly where they should be putting everything. In terms of their evidence for Welsh language, again, that's going on their R&E tab. And reflective cycles are also completed straight onto the PLP. So just so you're aware, we will be sending out weekly communications to you. They'll come out centrally from Rachel. I'll be communicating with the students each week via their Moodle platform, but they'll also be having weekly check-ins from their UTs as well. So they know they have ready and available access to us definitely through those channels. Okay. So things to sort of just consider really, PPA should take place with their mentor. We appreciate fully the challenges in school in terms of time, but ideally the PPA should take place with their mentor. Again, we understand that you may have mentors in different roles, but as much time as possible to that would be very much appreciated. They also should have separate senior mentors wherever possible. But again, we do understand that that isn't always the case, because they will obviously need some time and some feedback from their senior mentor as well. Our students should be attending staff meetings and inset where appropriate. So they are all aware that this is something that is part and parcel of what the expectation is, and we will leave that to your schools to decide if and when it's appropriate for them to or not attend, but we have told them it is part of the expectation. We don't expect them to run after school clubs, but they are encouraged to if they wish to. But what we have told them is they must arrive at least 10 minutes before the start of the day, which I know is farcical because you're all there so much earlier. And they can't leave, obviously, until 10 minutes after. But we have told them, and they are aware that they should be arriving a lot earlier. But we do have some students that do have work and family commitments alongside their studies. But they know that that is the bare minimum. And if your school is any close for any reasons, obviously the students don't have to make up those days, and that can just be communicated again with the university tutors as well. Does anyone have any questions for me? I'm aware I've rattled through that quite quickly. Does anyone have any questions at all? Okay. No? Rachel, is there anything else I need to add there?
No, I don't think so, Fran. I think that
Okay.
is pretty much everything.
Lovely. Okay. Well, if anyone does have any questions, let's say the university tutors will be in touch with you certainly by the beginning of next week, I'm sure, if they haven't done so already. But can I just take this opportunity to say thank you very much again for hosting our students. They are very enthusiastic to be coming out to your schools, and I wish you every success in your support of them. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's much appreciated.